landing 13 left if that's available.
Papa Hotel Tango India Link, Palm Springs Tower, squawk 6250.
6250.
Papa Hotel Tango India Link, Palm Springs altimeter is 2985, radar contact about 10 miles west of the Palm Springs VOR. Presently landing runway 31, you're requesting straight in for 13.
If that's available, yes, please.
Remember, correction of Papa Hotel Tango India Link, make straight in runway 13 left and clear to land. Wind is 0905.
Clear to land, runway 3 left, Papa Hotel Tango India Link, thanks.
Palm Springs clearance, Pilots 4658 is type PC12 slam call, request clearance to Vegas S filed.
Pilots 4658, Palm Springs clearance. Good afternoon, unable to give you S file and I'll be full route standby. Pilots 4658 is cleared to the Las Vegas airport via Flight Cathedral 1 departure procedure to Palm Springs, Victor 370 to 29 Palms, Victor 538, Cresso, join the Cresso 3 arrival. Maintain 7,000, expect flight level 2405 minutes after departure, departure frequency 126.7, squawk 6316.
Pilots 4658 is cleared to Vegas via Cathedral 1, Palm Springs, Victor 37029, Palms, Victor 538, Cresso 3, initially climb 7,000, expect cruiser FG5, departure 167, squawk 6316 plus 465.
Pause 4658, reback is correct. Tango India Mike, taxi to the ground via Echo on this frequency.
Taxiing to the ramp via Echo, remaining on this frequency, Papa Hotel Tango India Mike.
Ontario Tower, Cessna 237 Charlie Alpha, approximately 4 miles to the west, inbound to land.
Number 237 Charlie Alpha, roger, inner left traffic, left downwind runway 26 left, report base.
Enter left downwind for 26 left and record your base, 237 Charlie Alpha.
Charlie Tower, United 242 on the visual for 20 right, will be turning for a right base shortly.
United 242 John Wayne Tower, runway 20 right, clear to land, wind 170.3.
Clear to land, 20 right, United 242.
Panama Tower, King Alpha 208 Kilo, ILS flight 4.
Here 520 Yankee Kilo, Palomar Tower, runway 24, clear to land, wind 210 at 1.
Clear land, Kilo.
Number 237 Charlie Alpha, runway 26 left, clear to land.
26 left, clear to land, 7 Charlie Alpha, thank you.
Palm Springs ramp, Pilots 4658 is trying to weather going for taxi.
Pilots 4658, Palm Springs ground, runway 31 right, taxi via Echo and Bravo.
Trail right via Echo Bravo 465.
Riverside Tower, good morning, November 2903 Alpha with you on the ILS.
Number 2903 Alpha, Riverside Tower, good afternoon. Runway 9 clear low approach, report miss.
November 2903 Alpha, clear low approach, runway 9, next report is good.
Palm Springs Tower, Pilots 4658 ready to go 3 and right left Bravo.
Pause 4658, Palm Springs Tower, runway 31 right, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff 3 and right Pilots 465.
Panama Tower, King Alpha 208 Kilo, 284.
Here's our Yankee Kilo, roger, taxi into the ramp via Alpha.
Via Alpha to
Pilots 4658, contact SoCal departure.
Contact departure 465.
Cessna 7 Charlie Alpha is clearly active, taxi to the GA parking base.
We're 7 Charlie Alpha, remain on this frequency, taxi into the south ramp via Sierra.
South ramp via Sierra with you, 7 Charlie Alpha, thanks.
November 2903 Alpha going around.
Number 03 Alpha, confirm going around or going missed.
November 2903 Alpha going missed.
Number 03 Alpha, roger, execute the published missed approach procedure.
Flying the published mid-approach procedure, November 2903.
Piper 2903 Alpha, contact SoCal departure.
Contact departure, 03 Alpha.
Number 03 Alpha, departure frequency will be 135.4.
135.4 for departure, November 2903 Alpha.
Ontario Tower, November 516 Delta Mike, inbound ILS 26 left.
Number 516 Delta Mike, Ontario Tower. Good afternoon, Ontario. Wind is calm. Runway 26 left, clear to land.
26 left, clear to land, 6 Delta Mike. Ontario Tower, November 36. Correction 516 Delta Mike, clear of the active at uniform, taxiing to the south apron.
Number 6 Delta Mike, roger, taxi in the south ramp via Sierra. Remain on this frequency.
Via Sierra on this frequency 6 Delta.
Riverside Tower, good evening,
Number 2903 Alpha, Riverside Tower, runway 27, clear to land.
Clear to land on runway 2703 Alpha. Riverside route, November 2903 Alpha. In Alpha, request taxi to the transient parking.
Number 2903 Alpha, Riverside ground. In the future, don't switch to the ground frequency unless you're told to do so. You should stay with tower, exiting the runway all the way to the hold short point. Stay on this frequency for now, taxi into the ramp via Alpha.
Taxi to ramp via Alpha. Rocket. November 2903 Alpha.
Generating clearance. Generating clearance. November 6th. Charlie Mike Cherokee. I would like to attempt the I-4 rating today.
Cherokee 76 Charlie Mike, jawline clearance. Good evening. Good luck on the I-4 destination. Will be, let's go, Kilo Oscar X-ray Romeo.
That's Kilo Oscar X-ray Romeo. 6 Charlie Mike.
Yes, sir. Good luck.
I'm going to sign off and collect some information for this destination. I'll sign back in. Is that okay?
Absolutely. Just report when you're back with the I-4. And how long do you think it'll be? It's not going to be more than an hour, is it?
No. I have to file and get some charts and plates.
Wonderful. Yeah, I'll still be here, so it shouldn't be a problem. And we'll look for your flight plan to come through. And we should plan some.
Las Vegas Tower Plus 4658 unusual 1 on the right 4500.
Plus 4658 Las Vegas Tower, runway 19 right, clear to land, wind 1807.
Clear to land 19 right 465.
Plus 658 exit right, taxi into the ramp via hotel, remain on this frequency today.
Exit right, right via hotel, ramp frequency 58 465.
Beach ground, number 953 Whiskey Alpha's Piper Comanche PH4/Alpha. Taxi the active VFR east departure with weather.
Calling Long Beach ground, need you to just verify your call sign, please.
Sorry about that. 916 Whiskey Alpha, November 916 Whiskey Alpha.
Comanche 9016 Whiskey Alpha, Long Beach ground, roger. And just confirm VFR eastbound.
Eastbound and the east ramp just south of runway 25.
Comanche 9016 Whiskey Alpha, roger. Runway 26 right, taxi via Kilo.
Okay, 25 right via Kilo, 916 Whiskey Alpha. Long Beach Tower, November 916 Whiskey Alpha, holding short of 25 right Kilo, ready for departure via Park East.
Number 916 Whiskey Alpha, Long Beach Tower, runway 25 right, clear for takeoff, right downwind departure approved.
Clear for takeoff 25 right, right downwind departure 6 Whiskey Alpha. Good day, Palm Springs, ground scanning Hotel Tango, East Ramp, India, close traffic, runway 31 right.
Papa Hotel Tango, do you Mike? Palm Springs ground, say again aircraft type.
For a Cessna Sky.
Skyline Tango, do you Mike? Thank you, runway 31 right, taxi via Echo and Bravo.
Echo and Bravo, 31 right, Papa Hotel Tango.
We're 791 Juliet, towards ground left, clear.
Okay, Sky 791 Juliet. We see there's no clearance delivery with this field, so would we get our departure instructions with tower or with ground?
Always go with the lowest, so we'll start with ground. Just say your intentions.
Okay, Sky 791 Juliet. Type Cessna 172 on the south hangars with the numbers requesting VFR advisories to jump.
Number 791 Juliet, roger. Departure frequency 134.9er, squawk 2061.
1249, that's 2061. Squawk 791 Juliet.
Got 901 Juliet, read back is correct. Are you ready to taxi now?
In a couple of minutes, just gotta go around to the side. Sky 791 Juliet, south hangars 956.
Sky 791 Juliet, roger. Runway 29 right. Taxi via hotel. Correction, taxi via Alpha in Juliet.
29 right, taxi via Alpha and Juliet, Sky 791 Juliet.
Palm Springs Tower, scanning Papa Hotel Tango. Mike is holding short runway 31.
Hey guys, happy Monday. Hope you are all doing well. I am, at least. And today we're going to do some radial flying again with an NDB, this time with a proper crosswind component, because then we need to be a little bit more crabbed into the wind and still remain on that same ground track, desired ground track towards that NDB beacon, which is actually not that difficult, so it's going to be a really casual, fun flight, but I think it's is necessary, and also a little bit fundamental to the stuff that is coming up next as part of my IFR instrument training here at the Uncertified Pilot. So that's what we're going to do today, and we will fly from Riverside. I believe I've only visited here just once or so. To Van Nuys. This is the flight, as you can see. What we're going to do in general, we're going to fly away from the Ontario Charlie, as you can see here from Riverside. We're going to go all the way up to 6,500 and go to the west. Overfly all of this stuff, also underneath that little bit of a snipe. Thanks for the subscription, man. Thanks, trusty follower, and welcome on board. Hope you are doing well. Much appreciated. So we're going to fly at 6,500, overfly the Charlie of Ontario, but underfly the Bravo, or this little bit here of the Bravo of LAX. We're going to go to Pomona, so some VOR radial flying as well with that crosswind. Then we're going to go further up west to El Monte, that's the NDB again. Then the next NDB is going to be Whiteman, and then we're going to fly a little bit more west of the Burbank Charlie. As you can see, we're circled down to traffic pattern altitude and say Van Nuys. Here we are inbound for a full stop. That's the flight for today. We're flying real weather, except I have set a decent crosswind component. Actually, it's perfect flying weather currently in Southern California, at least LA. So I need the crosswind. So that's the one that I added here. Paz, good to see you. Snipe ATM can't stay for long as about to leave, but I would like to stop by and say hello. Well, that's much appreciated, Snipe, and thanks again for the subscription. Thank you so much. Okay, so that's the flight. Let's just brief it in a little bit more detail. Also have a look at what other weather we do have set for today, so we can still look at ceilings and that kind of stuff. Although I expect, as you can see here, looking at all the green flight category depictions, that the weather's actually just great. So it's going to be a quick run, I expect. XX, thank you for the follow. Welcome on board. Much appreciated, you guys being here. Okay, so first off, we are at Riverside. This is Riverside. And we are actually at the GA parking, but not there to the south, but north of those hangars. Let me see if I can... I think we are here. And I guess we're going to get the runway 27, I think. We'll have to see. Doesn't really matter that much. I'd like to go to the south because I'd like to get away from the Charlie of Ontario and get up to 6,500. So I'm going to request a southbound departure, no flight following, just basic VFR flight. So either way, it's going to be a left crosswind departure from runway 27, or it's going to be a straight out from 16. I don't know. We'll have to see. Either way, it's going to be quite a basic taxi. Perhaps if we're going to go to 16, we need to cross multiple runways, because then we need to go, as you can see, I guess to Lima, and then Juliet, and then from Juliet crossing a runway 9er and then 16. So that might be a little bit more of a complex taxi, but I expect that we will get runway 27. Okay, basic 8 is tower ground, so that's just fine. Hey viewers, good to see you. Welcome aboard. Does PA have its own real weather engine? Wetsim does. No, it doesn't. And I guess it doesn't also make sense for PilotEdge to actually generate weather, because most of the time when we are flying with real weather from our own sim, it should be generally the same. The one thing that I do like PilotEdge to incorporate, and it's on their list, as Keith has mentioned already for 2 years by now, is to integrate the ATIS information based on real-world weather. Even though the METAR itself might be generally the same, it would be great if we could all refer as PilotEdge users and as controllers as well to refer to the same ATIS information code. So if I say, hey, a tower with Bravo, then that Bravo information code is actually current for all PilotEdge pilots and controllers. That would be neat, but that's something that they are working on. So that's Riverside, quite basic. Also have a look at the fly chart, because we are flying at LA around all kinds of different airspaces. It's always good as a VFR pilot to take a brief look, or a more sophisticated, more precise look at the fly chart. And as you can see here, here is Riverside, Delta class, southbound. So I'd like to go to Lake Matthews here down south, or at least to cross the Riverside Freeway, as you can see there, just as a directioning kind of visual reference point. So I know that I'm clear of that chart. You also have GPS, but it's redundancy is always a good thing. And also, personally, I find it so hard and so challenging to fly on visuals, so I need to incorporate that stuff on and on and on just to keep drilling, practicing that stuff. So that's why. So we're going to go down south. Then here we're going to circle up, and as you can see around Lake Matthews, we will be clear of that airspace, and then we're going to pick up and fly to Pomona VOR, and that's what we're going to fly to. And you can see at or below 8,500. Well, it's correct that we don't need to fly above 8,500, because then we're going to fly at 9,000 into this Bravo chunk. But at the same time, though, I don't like to fly below 5,000 feet, because that's where the Ontario Charlie starts, as you can see, from 2,700 up to 5,000. So in between 8,500 and 5,000, I'd like to fly, and that's going to be fly west. So a VFR, proper VFR altitude is going to be 6,500, and that's also the altitude where I set my crosswind, about 20 knots or so. So it's going to be quite significant, I think, at least for a cruise. So that means that I need to crab myself into a radial. That's also interesting that I never really considered that explicitly before, but if you're flying inbound or outbound, it doesn't really matter. You're like to fly a particular radial. If you are constantly resetting the radial, so you always fly straight, or you like to fly straight in to that particular beacon, with a ground wind component, your ground track would actually be something like a curve or something like that, because you're constantly correcting for that wind that is pushing you around, while your nav1 would constantly show, because you're resetting it, a straight line exactly centered in the instrument. Your ground track would actually be quite off, not a straight line, obviously. Which is actually kind of like an amateur ground track kind of way of telling you that you're not really properly crabbed into the wind. So flying a radial VOR, or well, a bearing, as G already mentioned, Keith mentioned it as well on YouTube, is not proper to speak of radials in terms of NDB flying, because NDBs do not transmit radials. They only show you, it only shows you the particular track that you need to fly inbound, right? Just an incoming inbound kind of radial signal, which is a little bit less sophisticated than a VOR. That you need to be crabbed into the wind to stay on that radial, rather than just flying all over the place. So that's also going to be the topic of, or the focus of today's flight. Anyways, Pomona 6,500. If I look at any other you see many other airports here that we can divert to in case shit's gonna hit the fan, or Keith is gonna visit aboard and gives us an engine out or whatever. So no worries there. All of the terrain, which is best can be best seen here on the sectional, is all up north. Well, we're not gonna try to fly further up north, so that's fine as well. I guess the main concern here at 6,500 will be the Bravo that is south of us, especially around El Monte. So we need to stay preferably a little bit more to the north side than to the south side of our track to stay clear of all of that airspace. Let me see, anything else? No, we're just gonna overfly here. 6 out of 5 will be just fine until we are all the way down to the west, and then we circle down and go inbound to Van Nuys. Anything else that I need to consider here? No. No, I guess not. Runway lengths is also fine with our little Cessna Skyhawk. We don't have any strong winds here on the ground, so that also means that it's safe for us with our little Cessna to take off here and depart, and also arrive at Van Nuys, so that's great. In terms of weight and balance, we're the only ones in the aircraft. That's good. I think we're all refueled as well. We'll have to see soon. And in terms of fuel, well, we could have a quick look at fuel burn. Around 11 gallons. But again, this is based on real world weather, and I set my own crosswind component here. Also from the south up north. So a 180 wind component, crosswind component here. Okay, let's also have a look, even though I preset that wind, also have a look at visibility and clouds and that kind of stuff. So let's head over to the awesome weather chart. I really like these. All right, general low pressure area. All right, a little bit northwest there, or far out northwest in our case. Okay. No air mats, at least not at 1500 Zulu. We're currently at 1730 Zulu, so this is a little bit dated. No, I'm not looking at the right one. I should look at the right top one. 1500, so you can see there. Valid until, and this is when it was issued. That's a different thing, obviously. So this is 1800, so this is a little bit current. As you can see, no air mats. This one is 2100 Zulu. So as you can see, during our flight, no air mats are active. Okay, that's great. Significant weather charts. To the right, 1800 Zulu would be current for our flight. As you can see, no marginal VMC or stuff. It's perfect flying weather. That's great. A little bit further on in time, 00 Zulu, and still weather is great. Awesome. Clouds, well, there are some. As you can see, this is at 1700, so that's already 30 minutes ago. I don't think there are any other satellite charts here in ForeFlight, so I guess this is still a little bit dated, but as you can see, around our area, not many thick clouds. Those are much more high up north near San Francisco. Okay, visibility, this is 2100 Zulu, already quite far away actually. Time, far ahead in time. I guess I need to look. No, okay. Well, at 2100 Zulu it is, and as you can see, no ceilings, at least not at up to 12,000 feet. Great. So our cruising altitude is fine then, as VFR pilots at least. Ceilings, no precipitation then, obviously good. Yeah, and visibility, not a concern, at least not at 2100. It would mostly be around Catalina and that place on the ocean where we can expect a little bit worse visibility, but not in our case, not particular to our flight. You can see far ahead in time, many hours ahead, it's going to worsen a little bit. Winds, we're not going to look at because I preset my own weather at 6,500. My winds, I mean. Okay, freezing levels around 15,000 with our Skyhawk. That's not a concern, and so also probability of icing is, well, pretty much none. Okay, great. So that means that the weather is just fine for us to fly. We've got a good routing here. We considered airspace, we considered diversions, we considered runway length, we considered fuel and that stuff. Need to look up how many gallons of fuel are actually in my little Skyhawk today. I think plenty, but just to be sure. And that's about it in terms of our flight. Great. So that means that we can start our initial checks. So, how are you all doing, guys? Monday. Also for those who are living in the Netherlands or around the Netherlands, in Germany or in Belgium, the 4th and 5th of November, this November, a very nice flight simulation convention is held in Lelystad in the Netherlands at a really wonderful aviation museum. Where I will go to speak on behalf of the Uncertified Pilot project and tell everyone, or hopefully inspire many visitors there about the thrill and educational value of flight simulation. I would love to meet you there. So if you have free time around the 4th and 5th of November, feel free to come over and say hi. I would really love to see you guys. Oh yeah, gaming beer, exactly. At the Aviodroom, for the Dutch people here who are familiar with our very nice Dutch aviation museum there. Explain will present there as well, I believe. It's going to be interesting. Okay. I would also have a little bit of music because I like so. Okay. Riverside, doors closed. We are ready to go. Wonderful. First up is seatbelts. Already did my pre-check outside, so the external walk around, we skipped that one just for time's sake. Yeah, are you a little bit tilted here? I think so. Okay. Door closed. Your golden dark check. Parking brakes are set. Life vest, fire extinguisher, doors closed. LT set to auto. The stuff lever is up. Up. Throttle. Mixture. Trim was not set. It is now. Fuel tanks set to both. Cutoff is in. Alternate is in. Circuit breakers are nicely tucked in here as well. Switch panel is working. My beacon switch is on and avionics are off. Wonderful. Controls. To the right, that one goes down. That one goes up. That one goes down. That one goes up. Up, down. Trim is working too. Great. Okay, that completes the golden dark tests. Yeah, gaming, you like to be a fighter jet pilot? How old are you? Okay. Batteries on. Fuel. Well, that's not enough fuel. Let's reload a bit. Quite a bit. Batteries on. Yeah, that's much better. Okay, avionics on. Let's turn on off our transponder for now. Also turn down our flaps. See if they go down. Go down in sync. Looks good to me. Alright, displays work. Annunciator message or panel works as well. And this is all set too. Wonderful. Avionics off. Throttle, bit in. Fuel pump on. Picture in. 1, 2, 3. Can see fuel flow there. Wonderful. And again, everything is set. Is anyone walking around? No. So clear prop. It is started. Oil pressure is already in the green. Wonderful. Generator on. See a rise in the M meter. Nice. Clean the mixture a bit. It's a bit too much. Go. Just peak there. Yep. Wonderful. And 1,000. And the engine can start to warm up. Great. Avionics on. And then we switch on the transponder VFR checked. And we can set some frequencies. 15. Alright. Still have some way to go there, gaming. Well, I'm hoping that you're using Flight Sim to prepare yourself a bit or get yourself a little bit familiar with how it is to fly. Or DCS. How is it called? DCS World? As a simulator. Okay, so while our GPS is starting up,